Oh, no, sir. Of course not, Mr. Reginald protested. Of course, I do not suspect you. Now, Mr. Reginald is trying to calm that American. He says that, no, it is not like that. We are trying to do all this formality just for our satisfaction. But when I report the matter to the insurance company, I shall have to inform them that I made a thorough search even on you, sir, if you will excuse me. Now, what Mr. Isner gives the explanation that if you want to report the matter to the insurance company, they have to give the explanation that they have made a thorough checkup, and this everywhere they have checked, even to the customers also they have checked, and then they are reporting the matter. So that is why he asked him to pardon him and let the formality be done. Okay, said the American, and went off quite cheerfully to Mr. Reginer's office. Now he went little bit happily to the Reginer's office, where Mr. Regner searched through his clothes without finding any trace of the ring. Now, in the office, Mr. Regner happened to search through his clothes, where he did not find any kind of mark of the ring. While this was happening, another customer came in. All this incident was happening, all this searching was going on. Meanwhile, another customer entered. It was a young woman who had been looking at the funeral display in the undertaker's window for such a long time. Now, who was that woman? She was the same woman who was standing in front of the undertaker's shop and looking at the display in the window. And her coming in at this moment struck me rather strange. And when William Morris saw that lady who was standing in front of undertaker's shop and suddenly entering in the jewelry shop, it found very mismatched. It is a person who is standing, who is coming for the to see the display of the funeral. It seems as if some near or dear ones have died, and suddenly she enters the jewelry shop to buy things. Then it seems little bit different or unusual for William Morris. I look at her across the counter and notice several things. Her handbag was an expensive kind, but it was old and worn and very shabby. Now, while she entered, this William Morris, as usual, he had the habit of observing the people. He happened to notice several things about that woman. Her handbag. About the handbag, her handbag was very expensive, but though it was very expensive, but it was very much old. What happened, even if the thing is expensive, after using for so many times, it becomes very old and it loses its glaze, and very shabby. Shabby means ugly. It was looking very ugly. The same was true of her clothes, and same thing was about her clothes also. Clearly, she had been well off once. That means it showed that she had been from a very financially sound family, but now she is living. But now she was living in poverty. Now she is living in a poor condition. She had not come here to buy anything. More likely, she had come with something to sell. Now it is clear that she had not come to buy anything here, but what she has come for, to something to sell. She has come to sell something. But she put her handbag down on the counter and taking a little paper packet out of it, she said, she put that down beside her bag. Now, what she has done, she put her handbag down on the counter and taking out a little paper, and what she has done, she started taking out a little paper packet out of that handbag. She put that down beside her bag. She used her left hand, and while doing this, she used her left hand to do this. But strangely enough, she had not shown her left-handed in anything that she had done before. And whatever she had done before, in that it was not shown that she's a left-handed person. I opened the packet and found inside it a piece of cheap jewelry. And when William Morris opened the paper packet, he found a cheap jewelry. Cheap means very less costly. A filigree brooch. Filigree means made of delicate twisted silver wire. So it was a brooch made up of, it was a thing made up of that thing. That means the filigree means the delicate wire. It was a brooch which was made of that delicate wires, which an imitation of Turkish stone worth about 30 shillings. And it was having the imitation. Imitation means which is not a true one. It is just a mere unreal. It is not a real one. It is an unreal. Turkish stone means the bluish green color stone worth 30 shilling. 30 shilling means it is a unit of currency. Could you mend this for me? Mend means repair. Now she says that, could you repair this for me? She asked, showing me the broken pin of the brooch. And she asked, she showed that broken pin of that brooch. Repairs? Thank you, she said. Then, as if by accident, her arm somehow swept against the paper in which the brooch had been wrapped. Now, thank you, she said, and then, as if by accident, her arm somehow swept against the paper which the brooch was wrapped. And now, she pretended as if her hand has been rubbed against something. And this fell to the floor on my side of the counter. And this thing, this packet went to the floor on the side of the counter. I say as if by accident. He says that it is by accident, but it was in reality, it was not an accident, it was a cunning trick. I realized that this as I bent down to pick up the paper. He realized this, that it was a cunning trick when he bent down to pick up the paper. All the facts suddenly came together in my head. All the facts means all the reality came together. He has a habit of joining all the different pictures. So he happened to join all the pictures and came to a conclusion and knew what had happened to the flower ring. And then he came to conclusion that what had happened to that ring, where the ring is. All the things that I noticed joined to form a single picture. Now what he has done, he has the habit of observing all the situation very carefully. So here also he has applied that theory. He observed everything, each and everything minutely, and join all to form a single picture and come to the conclusion. Picture showed me all that I wanted to know, and that picture showed him all that he wanted to know. I put the brooch. Brooch means it is a ornament that is fastened, means tied up to the clothing with a pin, that is known as brooch. Brooch back into its paper wrapping and handed it to her. And now just he happened to put that brooch in that paper packet and then handed it over to her. She put it into her handbag, and now she put that brooch into her handbag using her right hand. For doing this work, she had used her right hand, and then turned to leave the shop. And then again she turned to leave the shop. One moment, madam, I said. Now he said that, one moment, you wait. She heard me, but she pretended that she hadn't. She heard William Morris, but she pretended that she hadn't heard. She walked on towards the door, and then she walked towards the door. Pardon me, I said. Again he called her, pardon me, means excuse me, you please wait, but if you don't stop. And then again he said that if you don't stop, I shall press the alarm and the door will be locked. And he said that he is going to press the alarm button so that the door can be locked and she can't go out of the shop and the thorough checkup can be done. She stopped, but she did not look round. Then after hearing this, she stopped and then she did not look round here and there. Mrs. Skin stood like a statue, and already know that Mrs. Skin is very calm and quiet lady. She stood like a statue there behind the other counter. While I went up, and then William Morris went up to that young woman. Madam, I said, we do not wish for any unpleasantness. Unpleasantness means unhappiness. We don't want any kind of unhappy situation here. Kindly hand me the ring which you have in the left hand pocket of your coat. And then he said that, please hand over the ring to me which you have in the left hand pocket of your coat. If you will not, Mrs. Skin will press the alarm. If you will not give that ring to me, Mrs. Skin is going to press the alarm. The young woman was looking dreadfully pale. Dreadfully pale means totally pale. The young woman was looking totally pale and very frightened. Very frightened means she was very much afraid. I felt sorry for her, and without saying a word, she felt in her pocket and gave me the ring. And without saying even a word, she felt in her pocket and gave the ring to him. She ran out of the shop as if the place was on fire. That means she ran out of the shop very soon, very quickly, immediately. That is the meaning. She ran out of the shop as if the place was on fire. It was then that Mr. Regener came out of his office. Now, at this moment, Mr. Regener came out of his office with American, whose face was a big grin of satisfaction. Grin means the smile. He was having a broad smile of satisfaction. Mr. Regener was not smiling, but Mr. Regener was not at all smiling. He was as white as sheet. He was very much as white as sheet means without any reaction, because he was not getting the ring. Now it is not found with the American also. Where is the ring then? His voice was shaking as he said, I am sorry, sir. And he was feeling very much sorry, and he said to the American, I am sorry, sir, I have made a thorough checkup on you. I hope that you will understand and excuse me. I beg your pardon, indeed I do. And then he says that I hope that you understand our problem and you will pardon us. It was then I opened my hand and showed the ring, and it was that moment that William Morris opened the hand and showed the ring. It is a pity that you were not there to see Mr. Regener's face. Now, you were not there to see what type of reaction it was on Mr. Regener's face. What a mixture of astonishment, joy and thankfulness. Astonishment means surprise, happiness and thankfulness towards William Morris that he happened to find the culprit and he got the ring. As for that American, he was out of the shop that instant like a shot from a gun. That means the American, as far the American was concerned, he went out of the shop in that very instant, means that very moment he ran out of the shop. How did you find it? Gasped Mr. Regener. Gasped Mr. Regener means with a surprise, in a shocking mood. He asked him how you are able to find the culprit. Falling into a chair. Falling means he was too much tired, nervous. To relax, he sat in the chair. When? Well, I began from the first that fellow seemed a strange customer for us. Now, he doubted on that customer that this type of customer doesn't come to their shop. So, he found the customer to be very much strange, means unusual, not very much like what type of customer they get daily. That type of American does not come to us as a rule. As a rule means normally that type of customer and American does not come to their shop. They want something more modern and showy than what we sell, and those people want something which is very much having a lot of show, and it doesn't worth also. It should look attractive also, and it should be less costly also. Such type of things they need, they wanted. Besides, he did not know anything about jewelry, and he did not even know what he wanted. And besides, means apart from that, he did not even know about that jewelry, what type of jewelry is sold in his original shop, and what type of thing jewelry he wanted. All those things he was not knowing. People who come to regionals know what they wanted, and they generally know something about antique jewelry. Now people, those who come to regionals shop, they know something, they have a good knowledge about the antique jewelry, and they know something about that. And so I said to myself, why has he come to us? Now this William Morris questioned himself that why this person has come to him, for what purpose he has entered this shop. Right, quite right, said Mr. Reginald. That was very clever of you, William. Now he appreciated William Morris, and he said, it is very clever of you. Because of your cleverness only this happened. Then I continued. That means that William Morris continued explaining him. There was the young woman. I saw her standing about for quite a while, looking at the display opposite. Now, he explained to Mr. Rigner that he happened to see that lady standing in the opposite side of the road, looking at the display of those urns. The undertakers, said Mr. Rigner. How very strange. Now, Mr. Rigner is also very much confused, surprised that the lady who is standing in front of the undertaker shop suddenly enters the jewelry shop. That is what I thought. Now, William Morris says that that was very much strange. There only he doubted the lady. And why was she waiting about all that time if she intended to come in? Why did she bring us a cheap bronze to repair? Now, another question was why she was waiting for all that time in front of that shop, and when she intended to come, when she wanted to come inside, she could have come earlier only. Why she came after the American left? And why did she bring only very cheap, means very less costly jewelry to get it repaired? Everyone knows that Regner had nothing to do with cheap trinkets and never does cheap repairs. And everybody in the society or knows that Mr. Regners have nothing to do with the repairs. They don't repair the items. They deal only with the selling of the jewelries. Certainly not, said Mr. Regner, deeply shocked at the thought. Go on. And he was very much deeply shocked, means he came to know that how he was able, because of his alertness, how he was able to catch that person, that thief who came to steal the ring. Now, she isn't left-handed. Now, Mr. Regner, Mr. Morris said that that lady was not left-handed, but she took the packet out of her bag with her left hand, but she took that packet out of the bag with the left hand, and she put her left hand just where the American who was left-handed had put his after I had taken that last tray of ring out of the safe. Now, she has put that left hand exactly below that place where American who was American, he was the left-handed, had put his hand before. When William Morris was taking out the tray, at that time he happened to put that hand there. The American had happened to put the hand there. Just before I noticed that the flower ring had disappeared, and that time he noticed that the flower ring had disappeared while he was turning back after taking the tray. And what had he done with it? Asked Rijner. And now Rijner asked what he had done with that ring. It was like this. I explained it. All became clear to me when I was picking up that piece of paper. Then he explained to Mr. Rigner that when he was bending down to pick up the paper, everything, all the picture was clear, because he has the habit of observing the people, that he applied here, that theory he applied, and he made it into one single picture, and he came to the conclusion about it by saying that. It all became clear to me when I was picking up that piece of paper, when the American looked so angrily at Miss Suskin. When American looked angrily at Miss Suskin, I noticed that he had stopped chewing his gum. When American was looking at Miss Suskin, when Miss Suskin gave an idea to look in the turnips, that time he looked at Miss Suskin very angrily. So that time William Morris noticed that the American had stopped chewing the gum. You can't drop it on the floor. And now what can happen if you are chewing the gum, you have stopped chewing the gum, you can't drop the gum on the floor either. We haven't got a waste paper basket here. And the second thing is that they don't have the waste paper basket also here. And in any case, he hadn't moved an inch from where he was standing. And the next thing was that he did not move from his place where he was standing. And nor even he could not swallow the chewing gum also. He must have put the gum somewhere well within his reach, and he could have put that chewing gum within his reach, where his hand can reach. Where else could he have put it except under the edge of the counter? So where he could have put that chewing gum except the edge of the counter, where it should be not seen, it should not be visible to others. So in that place he had to put. So he happened to stick it under the edge of the counter, and then he pressed the ring. And then what he had done, he had pressed the ring on that into the gum of the for the girl to take out when she came into the shop. And he had pressed that ring for the girl, that when after he leaves, when the girl enters, she can take out that ring from there and can go out of the shop. And that is what she did, and exactly the same thing she had done. As the girl turned to go out, and when the girl turned to go out, William Morris, I found the gum just where I had expected it to be. And now when the girl was about to go out, William Morris found the gum just where he expected. Here it is. Look, you can see the mark that the ring made in it, and you can see the mark. And he happened to show it to Mr. Rignan. See this gum, and the mark of that ring is also present there. How differently people react to the same happening. Mr. Regener was angry at the attempted theft and most grateful to me. And there are two persons. Different people will be having different reaction for the same situation. Here also Mr. Regener's expression was different, whereas Miss Suskin's expression was different. While Mr. Ridgener, he was very much angry also that somebody has come to attempt steal the ring, and on the other hand, he was thankful to William Morris also. But Miss Huskyn, Miss Huskyn, I noticed, only said tisk tisk. And what about Miss Huskyn? She said only tisk tisk. I noticed that she often said tisk tisk when anything upsets her. And William Morris noticed that Miss Huskyn says tisk tisk whenever something upsets her. So, this is all about the lesson about the person William Morris, who is a careful observer, and due to his careful mind observation, he was able to find the culprit of the ring, the American and the woman who happened to attempt the theft in their shop, and proved to be a good detective.